All percent problems are in the form of part equals rate times space. Part equals rate times space. So out of these things, I'm going to pick out the rate first. The rate's usually the easiest thing to find because it's always the percentage. So whatever the percentage is, that's the rate. The base, we think of this as like the original amount or the whole amount. So the whole amount is the base. We take the percentage of something. Keep in mind too that the word of means multiply. So when we take percentage of something, we get the part. And a word that goes with a lot of times close to the part is. So when I take the percentage of the whole amount, the part is kind of like it sounds. Part of the whole amount or portion of the whole amount. So let's do an example where each of these is going to be an unknown. So let's say that a contractor makes a profit of contractor makes a profit of $12,350 on a $115,750 project. What is the percent of profit? What is the percent of profit? So he's got a pretty big job of $115,750, and he makes profit of $12,350. So we want to figure out the percent. So when I use that formula, part equals rate times base. So a lot of times we'll abbreviate this P equals R times B. So the thing I'm looking for in this one is the percentage. So I don't know the rate. The base, this is like the whole amount, so this would be the whole project amount, $115,750. And the part is the portion, in this case the profit. So 12,350 is the part of the whole amount of the project that is profit. So now to figure out what the rate is, I have to get the R alone, so I'll divide both sides by 115,750. So I'll do that on both sides. So that gets R alone. So when I divide, I get about 0.1067. So this, I'm getting my answer in decimal form. So I'd have to go one more step because the question is what is the percent. So I'll change this decimal to 10.67%, moving my decimal twice. And so that'll give me my answer, which makes sense. 10.67% of the whole entire project was the profit. Okay, so that's one where the rate was the unknown. Let's do another one. How about this one? So let's say that I have a measurement with a tolerance. A measurement has a tolerance of plus or minus 2%, going from a blueprint to the actual part. Going from a blueprint to the actual part. So as long as we're within plus or minus 2% when we actually create the part, we're okay. So a blueprint has a dimension of a dimension of 45 millimeters. Find the acceptable dimensions for the part. Find the acceptable dimensions for the part. So again, part equals rate times base. P equals R times B. So the rate is usually the easiest one to pick out first. 2%, plus or minus 2%. So instead of 2, I'm going to plug in 0.02. The blueprint is 45. So the blueprint, so the actual full dimension, that's going to be the base. So I want to figure out the part here. So if I take 0.02 times 45, I'm going to get 0.9. So this is getting me the part of the whole amount of the whole 45. So the 0.9 represents how much I can go up or down. How much I can go plus or minus. So that means I have to kind of get my upper and my lower ends here. So if I take 45 minus 0.9 and I take 45 plus 0.9, let's see what we get. So 45 minus 0.9 is going to be 44.1 centimeters to 45.09 centimeters. Oh, extra zero in there. Just 45.9. So 45.9. So between those two measurements, I'd be okay. I'd be within my plus or minus 2%. So sometimes too, especially when I'm looking for the part, a lot of times I might have to go one more step. Like in this one, I had to go and figure out the upper and lower dimensions. Okay, let's do one more. Let's say I'm paying my property taxes. My property taxes are, let's say I know that they're 3.5%. Let's see. And they are $3,200. Find the registered value of my home. Find the registered value of the home. So again, part equals rate times base. So like with other ones, the rate is usually either I'm looking for the percent, I don't know the rate, or if I'm given a percent, that is the rate. So in for rate, I can plug in 0.035. Now this one, the 3,200. So the 3,200 is the property taxes. I'm looking for the value of the home. So the thing I don't know is the base, the value of the home. The part is the part of the whole entire value that is the property taxes. So in this case, I don't know the base. So to get the base alone, I'll divide by 0.035. So my base is going to be 3,200 divided by 0.035 is $91,428.57. Okay, so that would be the value of the home. So we did one of each part of the P equals R times B formula that are an example of each of them being unknown, whether the part's unknown, the rate, or the base.